Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a winter fashion haul for you, but with a twist. Instead of just showing you pieces and modeling them, what I wanted to do was show you and talk about how they fit into some of the strongest trends we're seeing in 2025 going into 2026. Things like preppy chic, monochromatic dressing, and of course, the colors that we can't seem to get enough of, burgundy and chocolate brown. But I do also want to dive a little bit deeper and go beyond trends and talk about fashion codes. And these are things that I really prescribe to season after season, year after year. They sort of transcend trends. And these are more like little visual languages, so things relating to silhouette, texture, layering, and proportions. And when I think about these fashion codes, when I think about these really big trends, it really helps like narrow down the pieces that I want because, I think we're all inundated with so many looks, so many beautiful looks, so many different trends, so many like must-have products, either on Instagram, here on YouTube, on our favorite Substack feeds, that it becomes very, very overwhelming. So when I keep these sorts of things in mind, it makes shopping a lot easier. And when I was thinking about this particular video concept and this idea of sharing these thoughts with you guys, no better partner came to mind than Lily Silk. I am working with Lily Silk on this video. They're a longtime partner of mine and I just adore working with them. And I really love their clothing. They have really beautiful foundation pieces, but they're elevated. They're not like your basic basics. They are like an elevated luxury interpretation of basics for your wardrobe. They use really luxurious fabrics, really premium quality fibers, and I really love their attention to detail. Oh, and just a quick note before we move on, Lily Silk is having a Black Friday sale. So I will leave all the information down below in my description box, but they have pieces up to 70% off. So definitely check it out. Again, everything will be listed down below in my description box, the details, links, all that stuff. Okay, let's get into this video. So my very first fashion code, which I think can kind of segue into a very popular trend that we've been seeing, and I think there's a lot of talk about whether it's like dying out a little bit. So this fashion code I refer to as quiet structure. And this is definitely related to quiet luxury, and I know there's a lot of talk, is quiet luxury out? Was it ever even really a trend? It's the way people dress all the time. But I do like the idea of quiet structure because I don't always prescribe to quiet luxury all the time. Sometimes I like to amp it up a little bit, but quiet structure is something that I find I'm always looking for in pieces. I'm not someone that feels terribly comfortable wearing stretchy, kind of like loose, stretchy, structureless clothing all the time, everywhere. Obviously, pajamas, perfect, right? But I don't necessarily like, answering the door, if you will, answering the door in just sort of like a loose fitting t-shirt. I like things with just a little bit more structure. Now, I'm not talking about any kind of hard clothing here. I do work from home. And so this quiet structure I'm talking about, I think really hits the sweet spot between like corporate America and working from home. It's this, I always feel kind of put together, but I'm still very, very comfortable and it was easy and it was effortless. So I'm starting with the top that I'm wearing right now. This is a silk and wool button front shirt. Now, you guys know I love a button front shirt. I find them to be incredibly effortless. I find them so easy to throw on. A crisp white cotton one goes with just about everything, and it elevates very casual bottoms, if you will. So a white button front shirt with like a pair of jeans. All of a sudden, you're ready to go out for a meal versus like a t-shirt. And I don't think that a button front shirt takes that much more effort than a t-shirt. And I think it just looks so much more elevated. So of course, Lily Silk, they took it to the next level. We've gone beyond just the cotton poplin or the cotton Oxford. We have this silk wool fabric, which is, I'm wearing it up against my skin. It is so smooth. It is so soft. It is just the epitome of luxury. And I like this quiet structure. It has a lot more structure than a t-shirt, but it's not like a blazer. And that's not something I would wear around in my home all the time anyway. I love items like this because they go from private to public, like really, really quickly. Not a problem. I don't feel sloppy. And I just love this elevated interpretation of your classic button front shirt. Now I have this in a very dark charcoal gray, but the fabric, if you take a close look at it, is a melange fabric. So it is slightly mottled. I mean, ever so slightly mottled. You have to get up pretty close to see it. But I think that really kind of feeds into this really soft hand that this fabric has. The melange modeling of the fabric actually allows the eye to see how soft this hand is. Otherwise, I feel like it would look too smooth and too slick, but it does have this really kind of like cozy, almost like a fancy flannel. It's so incredible. I absolutely love it. So this idea of quiet structure is just something that I really, really love in all of my pieces, no matter the season. This shirt does also come in like a creamier, lighter beige color, which is absolutely gorgeous. I think also perfect for the winter time. It has that kind of like winter white feeling to it. It's beautiful. And you can actually see the melange in that fabric a little bit more because it's a lighter color. So really beautiful shirt. You have two options, and I just love this fabric. And I love this fabric so much that I also got the matching A-line skirt to this. It is a beautiful, beautiful skirt. You guys know how much I love skirts. I find them to be really, really easy. I don't have to, shorten them like pants. Pants can sometimes be fidgety. They have to fit in the waist. They have to fit in the leg. They have to fit in the butt. Skirts are just so much easier. And I feel, again, like it's a really easy way to elevate a look. And when I wear this top and the skirt together, I'm touching upon a trend that I have been seeing a lot of like last fall and definitely more into this fall, this winter, which is monochromatic dressing. I love monochromatic dressing. I think it makes such a statement, but in a really, really subtle way. And I do think you can go kind of wrong with monochromatic dressing. So for me, I really like sticking to very neutral colors. I think, like this, like a matching charcoal gray, I think is gorgeous. A matching like beige, camel, I think can be really, really sharp. Obviously black on black looks really, really chic all the time. It's the really bright colors like head to toe that I find really tough. Of course, some people can pull it off. Some people look great in that way. But if you feel a little bit maybe intimidated by the idea of wearing like head to toe same color, I would stick with neutrals. So I just love this like monochromatic look. I love this like luxurious fabric that these two pieces are in. Look at how beautifully the skirt just moves. It's got that really, really quiet structure to it. There's flow to it, but it's not like a silk charmeuse. It's not like a cotton gauze. But it's also not like a really tailored, stiff kind of skirt. It falls right in between. And I just love it. I love it. I love this like quiet structure of this particular outfit. And sticking with the monochromatic story here, I do have this incredible sweatsuit. And I'm using the word sweatsuit loosely because yes, this looks like kind of a typical sweatsuit, but this is a sweatsuit lily silk style. First off, let's just talk about this beautiful chocolate brown. Chocolate brown is definitely continuing to be the hot base color for a lot of wardrobes. For me, I want to say for the past decade, the base color for my wardrobe has been like the blacks and the grays. And before that, which is what we're returning to now, it was a lot of the chocolate browns and the navies. And I feel like I'm scrambling at this point to kind of fill in my wardrobe with more browns and navies. So I love the idea of this really casual kind of sweatsuit, but in this like rich chocolate brown color. I just think it looks so great. And this sweatshirt is a half zip sweatshirt. I've been seeing this silhouette a lot. I have a lot of pieces with this half or quarter zip at the top. I just love it. I think it's really, really easy. It's a nice alternative to buttons. It's a nice alternative to a full zip hoodie. It's a nice alternative to just a crew neck pullover. I just really, really love it. And I love that the like half quarter zip is always paired with either a mock neck or a turtleneck. So it's perfect for the winter time. And of course, in pure lily silk fashion, this is not just any kind of like cotton sweatsuit. This sweatsuit is made out of what Lily Silk has trademarked as silkery. So this is terry cloth silk loop fabric. So it definitely has the look of the cotton sweatshirt material, but when you feel it, it feels like cool to the touch. It's really, really neat. And it just has like a little bit of a different drape. It's definitely something you have to experience, but it is so cool. So cool. When I was reading up on this fabric, I was like, wow, that is some really, really awesome, like textile technology. So really gorgeous. And just a quick note about the sweatpants. They're elastic waisted. There is an internal drawstring. There are pockets, of course, and it does have a straight leg. And I'm 5'5". They're a little bit long on me. I'm probably going to have to get them shortened. So I just wanted to mention that. I will leave down below in the description box, not only links to everything I'm talking about, but the sizes that I got, because I'm sure I'm forgetting to mention that in the video, but I will link to everything down below. Another fashion code that I prescribe to is textural contrast. I love layering different textures. I love pieces that incorporate different textures. I love the idea of like mixing and matching in terms of texture. So we've got this beautiful Fair Isle wool and cashmere sweater in these like creamy winter, like après ski colors. I love the camels and the creams in here. But what really caught my eye was how the color work in the yoke was broken up by this beautiful cabling. And that little bit of texture up there, I just find, just to be so interesting. And it just adds a little bit of additional interest to the yoke of this sweater. We've got that beautiful color work, but that cabling, I think, just makes the sweater look so much more scrumptious. So when I was, looking at this sweater, I thought, well, how can I add like a little bit more of like a textural contrast to this entire look? I pulled out these Lily silk pants that I have, and they're like pajama pants, and they're in this like gorgeous olive green color. I love the pairing of this. I love the pairing of this kind of like chunky wool and cashmere knit top with this very smooth, flowy, like pajama pant bottom with this like gorgeous sheen to them. I just think it's such an interesting pairing. I love the color combo as well. Olive and camel are like two of my favorite colors together. And I just love this like textural juxtaposition between the pants and the sweater, between like the weight difference between like the silk and the knit, and also just like the textural difference between like a kind of a fuzzy knit and this really smooth silk. I just think is really, really cool. So that's something I like to incorporate in a lot of my outfits. And I think it just works so beautifully with these two pieces. So this Fair Isle sweater, kind of ticks a couple of boxes. So not only did it kind of tick my textural contrast box, but this sweater also ticks off like my preppy checkbox. And I do feel like that's become a really, really big trend lately with all of the barn jackets that we're seeing, loafers, the like pullover anoraks, hooded anoraks with the kangaroo pocket. I feel like we're seeing more and more. And what I'm loving about this sort of like redo of this like, very popular 80s look is that it's become very polished. I like this like polished prep look. And I feel like this Fair Isle sweater really fits into this whole polished prep look really, really well. But another sweater that I got from Lily Silk is such a great example of this polished prep look. It is this marled sweater. It is this black and white marled, oversized, slightly chunky, thick neck, crew neck sweater. And marled knits to me always remind me of like kind of like rugged seaside kind of knits. And I feel like marled knits are super duper casual. And I'm always kind of talking about and romanticizing like the New England seaside. I talk about like New England summers. I'll talk about my fantasies like hanging out with Ina Garten all the way out in the Hamptons. I grew up in that part of the country. And so I always have this like very romantic notion of it. And this sweater is like perfect for that. It kind of reminds me of like boating. It kind of reminds me of the seaside. It's a perfect layering piece. And I love this like black and white combo. There's obviously a lot of different marls that you can do. Marling is just two different colors like kind of held together and knit. And so it's this very organic kind of pattern. It's not this sort of like engineered like color work pattern the way that Fair Isle sweater was. So it just has this like more casual feel. And I love that Lily Silk used this in this oversized sweater because I just feel like the marling and this silhouette just work perfectly together. But because it's black and white, I feel like you can elevate it a little bit. I paired it with a pair of Glen plaid trousers from Lily Silk. I love these trousers. I love a Glen plaid because it's so subtle. They're generally kind of like black and white. Sometimes you'll see like a brown, red camel kind of combination, but I love a Glen plaid. It's just so classic and it works so well with so many things. So I love it with this marled crew neck. I do also love the idea of elevated minimalism. I feel like minimalism and quiet luxury, I feel like you kind of like interchange those two concepts. There's a lot of crossover, shall we say. But I like the idea of like elevating the minimal, and a sweater like this one, this gray cashmere cardigan, really addresses this elevated minimalism because it is a very minimal silhouette. Right? We see cardigans like this all the time. They're usually part of a twin set. You've got the crew neck, you've got the little button band, very, very ladylike. But I love that this is in cashmere. I mean, automatically, if something is in cashmere, it's elevated. It's so soft. It's so, so soft. I wish you guys could reach through your screens and feel how soft this sweater is. And the minute you touch it, you just fall in love. And like I mentioned in the beginning, I really love Lily Silk's eye for detail, and I love how they stabilize. It's just one of those small details that only you would ever see, but I love how they stabilize the button band with this ribbon. It really keeps this cardigan, it gives it that soft structure that I like. So it doesn't end up looking too floppy, too sloppy, or anything like that. It won't stretch out in the button area, which is really great. And, the versatility for a minimal piece is endless, because of course you could wear this with the Glen plaid trousers, you could wear this with the A-line wool skirt. It's the perfect addition to your wardrobe. And one last thing I want to mention are these gorgeous flats from Lily Silk. Now, I didn't know that they made shoes. I was so excited to see these. Look at these gorgeous flats. These flats, I feel like, touch upon almost every single fashion code I talked about, every single trend that I talked about. First, let's talk about this burgundy color trend. So I talked about chocolate brown, how I feel like that's like, the base color that we all need in our wardrobe now. This burgundy is sort of like adjacent to that because it looks so good with chocolate brown. It looks so good with navy and camel, but it also looks great with like gray, looks great obviously with black. It's such a wonderful, like, neutral adjacent color. And if you feel like a trending color just maybe isn't your color, or you just can't get on board with it, but you kind of like are curious about it, could it fit into your wardrobe? You're not sure if you like it. Like sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I think the best way to kind of play around with colors that maybe aren't in your comfort zone is with like a little accessory. And I think a pair of shoes is so, so great for that. So we've hit like a color trend. It also has a very, very quiet structure to them. These are loafers, but look at this like gorgeous like silk upper that these have. They have this like beautiful softness to them. The toe is rounded at the top, but it's not like bulbous, so they don't look like clown shoes. They're absolutely gorgeous. And then the backs have this soft leather to them. So you can wear them like a loafer style, or they are collapsible and you can wear them as a mule, which is so great. And I think the silk gives it this like elevated minimal quality as well. If you were to have done these shoes like in an all leather, they would look so much more utilitarian, but because they're in this beautiful silk fabric, I find that they're very elevated. I find that they look so luxe because they almost have like a really luxurious indoor slipper feel to them, like a really, really posh pair of slippers. I just think these loafers are so adorable. And personally, you guys have heard me talk about this a lot in the past, but I've pretty much given up wearing heels. They just don't work for me anymore. And sometimes it's a struggle when I have to get dressed up, when I have, a dinner party or something to go to, and I'm committed to wearing flats. Like I just don't want to be uncomfortable anymore. Sometimes it's hard. It's hard to find shoes that I think are dressy enough. And these shoes I think are great. This burgundy color I think is perfect for holiday parties, and they're flats. So you're going to be comfortable. They do wear like slippers. They're really amazing. So I think Lily Silk really hit it out of the park with these. All right. Well, that is it for this video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. What are some of your fashion codes? What are some of the trends that you have been loving? I would love to hear from you. And a big thank you to Lily Silk for working with me on this video. Please don't forget to check the description box for details on their Black Friday sale, for links to all the pieces that I mentioned, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.